Hello everybody, it's Don Sports. I'm switching from my phone for this video. I'm gonna see how it is on my Chromebook. So we're just gonna see how it does, if everything's alright. So let's get into it. But before we start, I would like to give a shout out to Liam Harburn. Why Liam? Because he's Liam. Why not? So we're gonna talk about yesterday's events on 6/3/26. So I guess we should just jump right on into it. We'll do the MLB, then we'll go to the NBA game. Let's start off with the MLB, shall we? Let's start off with the Phillies and the Padres. Coming into this game, Christopher Sanchez, pitcher for the Phillies, was looking to set a record of consecutive scoreless innings by a left-handed pitcher. It is actually the he was looking to set the longest single season streak by a left-handed pitcher since 1893. So, been 1 or 2 years, you know. Overall for the game, not much happened. Not until the bottom of the fifth, at least, when Adolis Garcia for the Phillies doubled to deep center field, which got Bryson Scott home for the Phillies to go ahead 1-0. As Christopher Sanchez didn't give up until the top of the seventh, where it was an RBI single by Jackson Merrill to left center field for Ty France to score, tying it up at 1-1. And Christopher Sanchez actually got an applause as he was leaving the field, because, well, they were replacing him. So, to forewarn y'all, I don't think there'll be many skits today. In the bottom of the seventh, JT Realmuto and Kyle Schwarber both hit solo home runs to give the Phillies the lead 3-1 going into the top of the eighth. But in the top of the eighth, Xander Bogaerts, with the bases loaded, got hit by a pitch, which moved Gavin Sheets to second for Miguel Andujar to third, and Fernando Tatis scored, making it 3-2 Phillies. But in the going to the top of the ninth, Duran got his 14th save of the season by striking out the Padres' last batter. I don't know who their last batter was. I'm not looking at all that, but regardless, pick up the win 3-2. In the standings, this has the Phillies at 33-29 and 9 games behind the Braves, while in the NL West, the Padres are now 7.5 games behind the Dodgers with a 32-29 record. Next game will be the Cleveland Guardians and the New York Yankees at Yankee Stadium. The game began in the top of the second when Kyle Manzardo for the Guardians homered to right field to make it 1-0 for the Guardians. At the bottom of the second, Jazz Chisholm for the Yankees homered to right field to tie it back up 1-1. Won't be another score until the top of the fourth when Rhys Hoskins for the Guardians homered to left field for a 2-run home run, bringing home him and Jose Ramirez to make it 3-1 for the Guardians. Bottom of the fourth, Jose Calabero homered to left field to make it 3-2 Guardians. The Yankees were then only down by 1. Couldn't do anything else that inning, and the scoring would begin again in the top of the sixth when Jose Ramirez homered to right field to make it 4-2 Guardians. Yet again, the Yankees would respond the next half of the inning, bottom of the sixth, when Cody Bellinger would do an RBI sac fly to bring home Ben Rice to make it 4-3 Guardians. While in the top of the eighth, Rhys Hoskins would do an RBI single to left field to put Kyle Manzardo at third and bring Jose Ramirez home. Apparently, Jose Ramirez is just scoring whenever. 5-3 Guardians. In the bottom of the ninth, Cody Bellinger would do another RBI sac fly to deep center field for Paul Goldschmidt to come home and score. But that would be it for the Yankees, as the Guardians would win 5-4. This puts the Yankees at a 36-25 record and 1 game behind the Rays, while the Guardians are still number 1 in the AL Central with a 36-27 record and 2.5 games ahead of the White Sox. Also, the Guardians swept the Yankees. Next game is between the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks. The scoring would begin in the top of the second when the Dodgers, Kyle Tucker homered to center field, and along with Mookie Betts, a 2-run home run, making it 2-0 Dodgers. While on the top of the third, Freddie Freeman would do an RBI single to left field for Andy Pages to score and for Shohei Ohtani to score, for making it 4-0. But then, just a bit later, Max Muncy singled to center field for Kyle Tucker to go to second and Freddie Freeman to score. The game, it's already 5-0, but to make things even worse for the Diamondbacks, Alex Freeland would single to center field, Alex Call would go to third, Will Smith would score, and Max Muncy would score. Overall complete domination by the Dodgers, no doubt. As in the standings, the Dodgers are now 40-22 with a 7.5 game lead over the Padres, while the Diamondbacks are third with a 32-29 record and 7.5 games behind the Dodgers. And looking at this over here, Shohei Ohtani has a .74 ERA, a .78 WHIP, and a .301 batting average with a .941 OPS. I don't know what half of that means other than ERA, so if you're a baseball fan, please explain in the comments. But clearly, it's really good because Ohtani is just dominating. Also, actually, I know the .301 batting average, that's pretty good, especially for a major leaguer. This game was nowhere competitive. The Dodgers just owned them from the beginning. I mean, easy to do that when you just buy everybody. Next thing we're going to cover is the Toronto Blue Jays at the Atlanta Braves. To start us off in the top of the first, the Blue Jays, Jesus Sanchez grounded out to second base, but Vladimir Guerrero got to second. Yohendrick Pinango to third, and Nathan Luke scored to make it 1-0 for the Blue Jays. Bottom of the second, Ha-Seong Kim had an RBI single to left field where he got a double out. What? I don't know. Wait. It's telling me it's a single, but it says he advanced to second, so I guess it's a double. Yeah, don't trust some stuff. Eli White scored. And it was off of a throwing error by Nathan Lukes. So, now 1-1. And in the top of the third, Nathan Lukes would redeem himself by having a solo home run to the right field to make it 2-1 Blue Jays. In the bottom of the third, though, the Braves would respond right back by Mauricio Dubon homering to center field to bring him, Ozzie Albies, and Matt Olson home to make it 4-2 Braves. In the bottom of the seventh, Ozzie Albies would have a 3-run home run where he scored, Matt Olson scored, and Dominic Smith scored to make it 7-2 Braves. In the top of the ninth, Brandon Valenzuela would homer to right field for the Blue Jays, but wouldn't matter much. It would only make it 7-3. That would be how the game ends, with the Braves' victory. Puts the Blue Jays at a 29-33 record, 8.5 games behind the Rays, while the Braves are still killing everyone in their division with a 9-game lead over the Phillies with a 42-20 record. The next game we're going to be covering, the Pittsburgh Pirates at the Houston Astros. And the scoring would start in the bottom of the third for the Astros, as Jordan Alvarez would single to and Jeremy Pena would go to third, while Nick Allen would score, making it 1-0 for the Astros. But in the same inning, Isaac Paredes would single to shallow left field for Jordan Alvarez to get to third, and Jeremy Pena to score, making it 2-0 for the Astros. But in the top of the fourth, Henry Davis would hit a grand slam to make it 4-2 Pirates. Then in the bottom of the fifth, Cam Smith would single to right field, putting Jordan Alvarez at third, and Jeremy Pena scoring, making it 4-3 with the Astros responding, but the Pirates still leading. Top of the sixth, Jared Triolo would single to right center field for Marcell Ozuna to get to second, and O'Neal Cruz to score, making it 5-3 for the Pirates. Then in the next inning, in the top of the seventh, the Pirates would have a homer for Nick Gonzalez, by Nick Gonzalez to center field for Brian Reynolds, him and Brian Reynolds to come home, making it 7-3. Then in the same inning, holy cow, Jahast Inixon Garcia would double to deep center field for O'Neal Cruz to score, making it 8-3 Pirates. So surely this game is over. No. In fact, bottom of the seventh, Isaac Paredes would homer to left field, where him and Jordan Alvarez come home, making it 8-5 Astros back in it. Top of the eighth, though, Nick Gonzalez would double deep to right field for Brandon Lowe to come home and score. It's now 9-5 Pirates. But in baseball, anything can happen, and this is just a dominant bottom half of the inning by the Astros. Christian Vazquez doubled to deep center field for Nick Allen to score, making it 9-6. Jordan Alvarez would have an RBI single to center field for Jeremy Pena to get to third and Christian Vazquez to score. Then Christian Walker would have an RBI single to second base. Zach Cole would get to third, and Jeremy Pena would score as there was a throwing error by Brandon Lowe. As bases loaded, Isaac Paredes would get walked for Christian Walker to second and Zach Cole to score. The logic's a bit mixed up there. I don't know what happened, but then Cam Smith would have an RBI triple to right field for Isaac Paredes and Christian Walker to score, making it 11-9, which is how it would end. And the Pirates learned from their brothers from New York on how to choke. The Astros are now 28-35, 5 games behind the Mariners, while the Pirates are now 33-29 and 5 games behind the Brewers. We're just going to speed through some of these games to get to the game I want to get to, since it's my favorite team. But the Marlins will beat the Nationals 4-1. Tigers would beat the Rays to sweep them, now beating them 7-2. The White Sox would beat the Twins 8-0. Mets would beat the Mariners 7-1. Red Sox would beat the Orioles 8-1. Royals would beat the Reds 5-2. And the Giants, actually their pitcher, had a perfect game bid until the 6th inning when he walked somebody. So and his no-hitter was broken, I think, in the 7th by a single. So did 1-0 though for the Giants. The Cardinals would beat the Rangers 5-3, and Angels would win against the Rockies 11-4. Now it's time for the Cubs and Athletics. To start us off, the Athletics would score thanks to Tyler Soderstrom, who hit into a force out to second base. Shea Langeliers was out at second, but Carlos Cortez scored to make it 1-0 for the Athletics. Next inning, top of the second, Alika Williams singled to center field for Zach Gelof to score 2-0. Cubs would respond in the bottom of the second with a Seiya Suzuki homer to center field, making it 2-1. Bottom of the third, Pete Crow Armstrong would homer to right field for a 2-run home run with him and Nico Horner, making it 3-2. Then in the bottom of the fourth, Michael Busch would have a RBI triple to deep right field for Ian Happ to score, and he obviously went to third. Nothing happened much until the top of the eighth, when Colby Thomas absolutely killed it out of the park, out of Wrigley, for making it 4-3 Cubs. Then Tyler Soderstrom would have an RBI single to shallow right field. He would be tagged out second, but he got Seiya Suzuki actually to Dansby Swanson, whatever. But Shea Langeliers would score, tying it up 4-4. Then, top of the 10th, Nick Kurtz would single to left field for Alika Williams to score, making it 5-4, and that would be the end of the game. Athletics win. Why? Because the Athletics are number 1. We're going to win division this year. Let's go over the divisions in general. The Rays lead the AL East by half a game over the Yankees, 8 games over the Orioles, 8.5 games over the Blue Jays and 11 over the Red Sox. I don't know what happened to the Red Sox. How are you and the Blue Jays doing worse than the Orioles? The AL Central, the Guardians lead by 2 games over the White Sox, 6.5 over the Twins, 10.5 over the Tigers, and 11 over the Royals. The AL West, the Athletics are only 2 games behind the Mariners. The Rangers are 2.5 games behind the Mariners. The Astros are 5 games behind the Mariners, and the Angels are 9 games behind the Mariners. In the NL East, the Braves lead it 9 games over the Phillies, 11.5 over the Nats, 13.5 over the Marlins, and 15 over the Mets. The Mets are buns. They're doing worse than the Marlins and Nationals. Which, if you don't cover much baseball, I don't either, but I at least know that they are not good teams. I don't know how the Mets are doing this bad. But in the NL Central, the Brewers lead it 5 games over the Pirates and Cardinals, 6 over the Cubs, and 6.5 over the Reds. That's a really good division, surprisingly. But in the NL West, the Dodgers are killing everybody. 7.5 game lead over the Padres and Diamondbacks, 15.5 over the Giants, and 16.5 over the Rockies. What do you know? The Rockies are doing bad again. Who could have seen this coming? But next is the game we're all waiting for me to cover, I guess. I don't know why you're here. But the Knicks and the Spurs, Game 1, NBA Finals. Coming into this, everyone thought the Spurs would win because they're wimpy Glazers. But, the Spurs started out strong. Also, the beginning is hilarious with the, while announcing the Knicks starting lineup. That did not backfire at all. Looking at the box score right now for this game, Wemby had 26 points off of 6 field goals, only 2 3-pointers. Which means, he only had 14 points from the field. Where did he get the rest? From his favorite spot, the 3-throw line. Why? Because he's a little wimp and they give everything to him. I mean, if you watched the Thunder Spurs series, they gave everything to Wimpy. Somehow, at 7'5", he can't out-rebound Josh Hart. That's the best player in the league? A 7'5" guy who can't out-rebound like a 6'5", 6'6" guy? Yeah, Dennis Rodman would out-rebound him by at least 10 rebounds every game if they played each other. Also, Wimpy could not compete with Wilt Chamberlain. He could not. At all. Wilt would destroy him. Physically. Mentally. Emotionally, probably. Wimpy couldn't shoot real good over Wilt. Wilt would just jump up and block it because he could jump very high. He was blocking Kareem's skyhooks. Wemby is not faster than him, not stronger than him. And Wilt would just block him. I mean, there would be nothing Wemby could do unless you had the refs involved and they just said it's a foul every time Wilt touched him. I say that mostly because Wimpy was getting locked down by Mitchell Robinson and Karl Anthony Towns. Yeah, bruh, he would beat Wilt Chamberlain. People say, oh, why is this a comparison? He's only year 3. Should not be a comparison. You only put it that way just to make him seem better, when he will never be that level. Starting to hate. I better stop. But, I thought the Spurs were going to pull away with it, but yet they pull on themselves because they're inexperienced, can't do anything, and are just wimps in general. Vassell complains about everything. You know what? They just complain about everything. The Spurs complain about literally everything. Just watch a game and they will complain about every single call against them. They'll complain when they miss a shot about it, how it's a foul. They're just sorry. Just sorry. Knicks took over San Antonio last night. Why? Because not a good fan base at San Antonio, I guess. Nothing like OKC nor New York. The place isn't very loud neither, that's for sure. Brunson had a 30-piece. Wimpy is shooting from Afghanistan still for some reason. I don't know why he's not in the paint. He's 7'5". Put him in the paint. He's 7'5". Granted, he can't do anything in the paint because he just gets boxed out physically and can't do anything, which makes sense because he is built like those car wash things. But regardless, Knicks take a 1-0 series lead over the Spurs, 105-95. I hope the Knicks win the NBA Finals. I don't like the Spurs. They're too babyish. They complain all the time. They just bothers me. But video should be getting uploaded shortly. Peace out. This has been Gabe. Tonight, I hope the Canes beat the Knights. Because let's go Canes. Signing off.